Alright, hello everyone, hope you're all well, hope you're all staying safe. In today's No Man's Sky video, I am bringing you episode 5 of Community Feedback Friday, and yes, I did actually manage to record this on time. I know a lot of you thought I wouldn't, but I proved you wrong. Daddy Dan has sorted it for you. As always guys, if you want to get your suggestions featured in next week's video, then please do join my Discord server, which is linked in the description, whereby there is a very specific channel for inputting your Community Feedback Friday suggestions. Alright, so first and foremost, we have a comment from the user Dungeon Runner who says, being able to land on certain asteroids to mine and build bases on would be a very welcome addition to the game in my opinion. So asteroid landings have been spoken about since pretty much No Man's Sky was birthed. We were promised a long time ago that we could land on asteroids, and although Sean never specifically said that we could build a base on asteroids because, you know, base building didn't exist, we were at least promised the ability to land on them, maybe get out of our ship and have a little look around. Now fast forward to 2020, 4 years after No Man's Sky has released, and for whatever reason, asteroid landings are still not possible. And I'm going to be honest, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, because at this point in time, we know that No Man's Sky unfortunately has a very large focus on base building. I'm not saying base building is a bad part of the game, but I'm saying there's areas of the game that need a lot more attention rather than building structures. But the point is, No Man's Sky is so engrossed in this base building culture that asteroid landings and building on asteroids makes so much sense. I don't necessarily think you'd be able to build like a castle on an asteroid, but maybe just a little outpost, maybe like a little temporary space station or a place where travelers can stop or NPCs can stop, sell items and what have you. I honestly believe that asteroid landings were going to come with the next update when we got ringed planets, and I remember saying in my original next video that Hello Games wouldn't include ringed planets unless they had a purpose, and yeah, I was proved really fucking wrong. A perfect opportunity for asteroid landings should have been the living ships update. This update focused a lot on space, and asteroid landings again would have been an absolute perfect fit. What's interesting about asteroid landings is that there are these really large asteroids with special destructive properties, and they are perfect. In fact, I'm convinced that these big asteroids were the original method of building on or at least landing on in pre-release No Man's Sky. And also they have collision. If you manage to get out of your ship or jump off of your frigate or do whatever and land on one, you can walk on them just fine. It 100% works, so I'm not exactly sure why it isn't in the game. Alright, moving on, we have a comment from Merriam-Webster. Again, fantastic names here, and they say the following. I just want a slight amount of realism when it comes to physics, space, planets, asteroids, etc. Just slightly more realistic behaviour that you'd expect, or just let me get out of my ship in space, that's fine too. Alright, so improved realism for space objects would 100% be a welcome addition. I think in particular, and this is a personal opinion, we need moving asteroids. When it comes down to the argument that space doesn't feel all that real, you know, it's very static, and even with living ships it's still quite static. That's largely because nothing moves. Asteroids don't travel. Freighters don't drive around. It just feels like everything's been spawned in and stuck into place. This space realism would be absolutely wonderful. Maybe even large asteroid fields, bigger than we have at the moment, more dense, more of a danger. And again, planet realism would be fantastic. Multiple biomes per planet which are affected by the location that you are on the planet. And also getting out of a ship in space needs to happen. I mean, why isn't it possible already? Yeah, I could not agree more with these suggestions. Thank you very much. Alright, moving on, we have a comment from my man Thunder, and he says the following. I know what I would like: orbital mechanics. Depending on distance from the sun, planets, climates and ecology vary and make more sense based on those rules. Also, I'm still hoping we get the center mechanic where as you get closer to the center, things become more challenging, unique and alien. That would entice explorers to actually explore and have a purpose of heading to the center. Thunder mate, I'm so glad that you said this, because as always, this is something I 100% support, and I've been saying this for the past God knows how many years. I would 100% say that orbital mechanics and the climates of planets being affected by a real sun is probably the most famous No Man's Sky missing feature feature that we currently don't have in the game, and it needs to happen. We know that planetary rotation did exist. You can even see it in one of the pre-release trailers where the planet is, it's moving. So planets at one point in time did orbit, but Hello Games removed the orbiting mechanic because playtesters found it too difficult to navigate to areas that they had already been to because the location would change and so forth. But the thing is, No Man's Sky has been out for 4 years now. The community is very dedicated, and a feature like this I think would actually please more people than annoy people. Us as a community like a challenge. Like, I really don't need to say that, we do love a challenge. And something hardcore like orbiting mechanics and climate being decided by the position of the sun is just easily my most requested feature in the game so far. You gotta think as well that this also solves the variation issue and the galactic core issue at the same time, kind of killing two birds with one stone. Also, remember that leaked 4chan post which I milked to death in about 3 videos? It stated that actual orbital mechanics and climate being affected by the sun was indeed coming in the summer update, so maybe, just maybe, this will soon be a reality. Alright, moving on, we have a comment from Ben Kanumbi, probably butchered that to shit, but they say the following. It would be cool to see a north and south pole of planets and to have the northern lights as well. It would also be interesting to see more stylized space stations and frigates/freighters like Gek, Viking and Korvik stations all look different and have a different style that match their architecture and philosophies. There could also be stations that we already have that are international. Alright, so I think this is a really interesting proposition, and believe it or not, I haven't actually heard this one before. So north and south poles would be a great tie-in with planet realism. I think this would come bundled if we were to get some kind of planet overhaul with realistic space physics and so forth. Also, if we had the ability whereby if we went to say the North Pole or the South Pole and the climate was different depending on the position in the planet, then that would be fucking crazy. I don't know how difficult that would be to implement, but my god, I would love to see it. And Northern Lights as well. A really nice idea and completely doable considering that we got rainbows, so why can't we get Northern Lights? And again, unique space stations I completely agree with. Designs that drastically separate the factions and their beliefs is a truly amazing idea. Some fantastic suggestions here, thank you so much. And finally, we have a comment from, well, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna let you read that. They suggested 2 really good features. The first one I won't be touching because it's so extensive and the video is gonna be really goddamn long, so I'm just gonna look at the second one. Double layered planets. Kind of a variety topic, but I have an idea for planets with 2 layers of ground. The first level will be just below the clouds and the second layer just above the bedrock. This will allow for extreme caves, extremely deep subsurface oceans and multi-biomes. To show how that will look, I made 2 rather horrible drawings, but the point should be clear, and they did not lie. Here are 2 not even that horrible drawings. In fact, I think they did a really good job of trying to explain this concept. So yeah, this is an amazing idea. This is something which they've clearly put a lot of thought into, so thank you very much for this. But I could not agree more with this suggestion, mostly because we know that No Man's Sky's caves are dog shit. They're boring. They're really boring. Not only do they all look the same, but there's no real purpose in going into one other than getting subterranean relics, which in themselves aren't exactly that important. There needs to be exclusive animals that live in caves, maybe something similar to the biological horrors on the surface of planets, but underground. Now that would be terrifying. Or I don't know, make caves darker, more hazardous plants, or more steep inclines, maybe even something like lava. There is a lot possible. I think all No Man's Sky needs to do is have a look at Minecraft and how Minecraft do their caves, as in there's an incentive to go mining, you know, that's like the gameplay loop of Minecraft. So they could add something like exclusive minerals that are only underground and can't be found on the planet's surface, but minerals that are actually really useful or maybe even valuable. But yeah, I 100% agree with this idea. Thank you so much for submitting it. Hopefully we can see something like this added in the near future. Alright guys, that just about does it for episode 5 of Community Feedback Friday. I do hope that you guys enjoyed. As always, if you did enjoy, please do feel free to leave a like on the video. Thank you all for watching. Take care. Love you all.